Hey, it's Jeff here. Welcome to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews. Today, a non-alcoholic brew from Maine. From Woodland Farms Brewing, this is their Witty. It's a non-alcoholic white brew. Comes in under 0.5% ABV. Also only has 90 calories. And Woodland Farms out of Kittery, Maine, has been putting out a lot of different types of non-alcoholic brews, and so far most of them I've tried, I've enjoyed. I haven't tried their sour yet. They do have a sour one, but I've not tried that one yet. So let's go with the wet ale, or white ale, and see how they do with that one. Okay, pour it into a kind of a white ale wit beer glass, which is meant to be tall. Kind of a quick pour. Let's see if I can slow it down a little to kind of control the head somewhat so it's not overwhelmed with head and foam. But it's a little slow pour into this glass. Yes, sirree. Yeah, it came out still kind of, well, foamy, kind of heady and foamy. Okay, so let's give it a shot and check it out. This pours like a sort of cloudy but very heady, sort of cloudy straw yellow color with busy carbonation going on up the bottle, or the glass I mean. Aroma. This one's got more of a fruit sensation, but I'm definitely picking up also kind of a wort sensation, you know, from brewing wort. It's got that distinctive scent to it, in my opinion. So it's kind of grainy. It's got kind of a wheat type character. Maybe kind of herbally. A hint of coriander. Not much in the way of any clove or other types of herbs that are kind of attributed to the wit beer style. But I'm also picking up a vibrant fruit character. Sort of an apricot, perhaps. Pear, maybe. Apple. Citrusy. So it's got a nice array of aromas. Check out the taste. Non-alcoholic. So the body's in the light range. Not watery, but light. And the taste is interesting. I like it though. It's interesting. I suppose you want more than interesting as a description. Well, I am getting kind of the bready character. I am getting sort of a citrusy character going on this, light-bodied. But I'm also getting kind of like almost like what I might define as a tobacco type character. I didn't check the date on this. The thing about non-alcoholic brews, like a lot of beer, most beer should be drunk fairly fresh. Although there's some stouts and abbey ales and things like that that can be aged for a period of time. But most beers should be had fresh, so I didn't check the date. And sometimes that tobacco sensation I get sometimes in beer is often because it might be a little beyond its date or coming up toward its date. Unfortunately, I don't see a date on this can. But that's all right. It still tastes pretty good. I'm not going to complain about the taste in the least. In fact, I find it kind of appealing. It's unique. It's got this sort of sense of beer, but you're not getting that sort of beery sort of character. I mean, I'm getting the citrus notes. I'm getting this tobacco note in the taste, which I don't really pick up in the aroma. I mean, the aroma, as I mentioned, leans toward what I like to call meaty fruits, like apple and pear, and then maybe a touch of apricot. And then there's the wheat character. I don't want to reiterate myself, but there's sort of a difference between the taste and the flavor, which I find interesting. There's that word again, interesting. Easy to drink though, I like it. Refreshing, I like that. Kind of not really dry, not much of a lingering aftertaste. Pretty straightforward. I mean, there's a slight tobacco type aftertaste, as I already mentioned. It doesn't linger long, but it's actually a pretty nice beer. It's actually pretty decent, I'd say. A quality brew for a non-alcoholic brew. Let me pour the rest of this into this glass because I poured it so fast it became more foam than anything. And as you can see, if you look into the at the low end of the camera, you'll see, or the picture, you'll see the foam has died down somewhat, but it still has that kind of cloudy, foggy sensation. I wouldn't call it hazy, but cloudy, foggy straw sensation. So, but it is different from, it's not really got the types of characters you might pick up. You know, if you've had a Blue Moon, for example, that's probably one of the most best known national brands for wit beers, or something from Allagash maybe. You get it. The Allagash has got a white, and that's quite a good one. So trying to scale this in some way. I try to compare this to those I consider sort of the masters of the art of that style, so to speak. Because I really am sort of picking numbers out of my hat here. So as far as the look goes, I'd give it a top grade on that, a 5 out of 5 maybe, or a 10 out of 10 look. And maybe make it a 9 out of 10 because it's a little foggy, not really sedimenty, but just a little foggy. But I guess it's supposed to look that way, so let's give that a 10 out of 10. And then as far as the aroma, if you're comparing it to a standard wit beer, I drop it down a bit to the 7 range or something like that. You know, it's pretty decent. It doesn't have that outstanding coriander and wit character, so maybe a little better, a little 8 on that or something. Taste, though, is also probably in the 7 or 8 range. But then the body's kind of nice for a non-alcohol. So I guess when I average it all out, probably I'm not doing very good math. I'm going to put this one in out of 10. Let's do an 8.5 out of 10. 85 out of 100. B. Sounds good to me. So that'll do it for now, but it's still pretty decent. When it comes to non-alcoholic brews, I'd put it much higher than that. You know, it's got its own character. And some non-alcoholic brews I have found can taste kind of watery and kind of plain and really not a lot of flavor whatsoever. At least this one has some flavor and a bit of body to it, which is kind of nice. So that will do it for now. This is from Woodland Farms Brewing. They're Witty. Thanks for watching NEBR. I'll catch you again next time.